I just might have to shoot you.
After President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1861 and abolished slavery in America, a civil war erupted between the Confederates and the Union Army, leaving the Southern states without men to defend their homes. Thus, all women in the South must fight to save their lives and defend their properties from two renegade drunken soldiers who have broken off from the Union Army to carry out inhuman attacks, rape, murder, and burning the properties that belonged to Confederate soldiers. After the deaths of their parents on the battlefield, Augusta and her younger sister, Louise, stay at an isolated farmhouse with their old house slave, Mad. Given that Mad is now a free woman, she feels safe, wants to still live and cook for them, and is now part of the family. Augusta always stands up for Mad when Louise speaks to her abusively and advises Louise to stop her negative attitude toward Mad. She reminds her that Mad is no longer a servant or slave. Somewhere in South Carolina, the two rogue Union soldiers, Henry and his partner Moses, continue their lawless acts of pillage and violence. After sexually assaulting the women, they kill them and, not only that, they burn everything they come across on their way. That morning, Augusta calls her young sister, Louise, to lend a hand in harvesting the potatoes. Angrily, Louise tells her once more that being around a black person makes her uncomfortable. Louise becomes agitated when Augusta defends Mad and runs away. That evening, a black man is spotted riding a horse in a southerly direction, but he immediately conceals himself when he sees two Union Army soldiers heading in the same direction. The following day, Augusta continues her farm work as usual. Suddenly, she hears her young sister, Louise, yelling for assistance in the woods. She quickly grabs her gun and runs alongside Mad to find out what's happening, only to discover that Louise has been bitten by a venomous snake and is severely bleeding. Without hesitation, Augusta lifts and carries Louise back to the house. However, she grows more fearful because Louise's body temperature is very high, and her skin has turned red. Sadly, they don't have any specific medications to treat her sister's illness. Mad suggests asking their closest neighbors for medical assistance. Augusta mounts her horse in haste, hoping to acquire a drug that will heal her sister. In the meantime, Augusta reaches the nearby neighborhood. She says hello but is surprised when there is no response. Growing suspicious, she walks into the house, only to find the property owner's lifeless body lying in a chair, the room infested with flies and reeking of decay. She spots a poison bottle in the woman's hand. It seems she killed herself out of frustration. Now, the likelihood of saving her sister is dwindling. Augusta hastily mounts her horse and heads toward her father's friend, who lives several miles away. She does not mind the distance. After spending the whole day riding, Augusta finally reaches the place. She ties her exhausted horse to a pole. Just then, she notices a black dog waiting outside the house. Despite this, Augusta walks into the room to meet her father's friend, Caleb. Without saying hello, Caleb whispers to her that she has made the grave mistake of coming to his place. Augusta turns around only to discover that two soldiers in Union Army uniforms are staring at her. It's rumored that they are killing everyone they come across in the South. Augusta reveals to Caleb that she has come all this way in hopes of finding good luck to save her sister. She can't return home empty-handed, she doesn't want to lose her. Caleb orders his wife, Molly, to find some herbs that might be of help to her. Augusta reveals to Caleb that her horse is exhausted and she can't use it to go back home. Molly handles Augusta's medicine and advises her to steal the captain's horse, only she has to go up the stairs and jump through the window, where Caleb will be waiting for her. Molly playfully sits on Henry's lap to distract them, but Moses follows Augusta with his eyes when she enters the room. He quickly ascends towards the door, only to find out that she has already escaped through the window. When Henry hears a barking dog outside, he freaks out and tries to push Molly away, but she bites his lips in the process. Henry slaps her, knocks her to the floor, and runs outside. Henry freezes when he learns that Moses is being held at gunpoint. Augusta threatens to shoot him dead if he tries to reach for his gun or takes another step forward. Listening to Caleb, she vanishes. Augusta slings the rifle around her back, turns the stolen horse, and races away to save her dying sister. Moses and Henry turn around and look at Molly and Caleb, who stand by uneasily, waiting for their fate. Augusta kicks the horse faster, and in the distance, a gunshot is heard, then another, while Augusta keeps going. On that darkest night, Augusta arrives at the farmhouse with an exhausted smile, where Matt had been waiting for her, and heads straight to the house. Augusta thanks God that Louise is still alive and holds her tight. The duo ladles the medicine onto Louise's back and affected leg. Augusta goes on to tell her tales of the cruel king and his servants in order to help her sleep. When she finally dozes off, Augusta and Matt grow more worried that she might not make it through, as her body is too hot and has turned red. In the afternoon, Moses and Henry walk unsteadily on the road while tracking down Augusta's whereabouts, but without success. At that moment, Moses spots a piece of Augusta's cloth hanging on the tree leaves, which boosts their confidence in pursuing her. Back at the farmhouse, Augusta learns about Mad's background. Mad says that she and her husband had to labor as slaves in numerous homes and fields to survive. Unfortunately, they were separated when another slave master purchased her husband. Mad still believes and hopes her husband will return to her one day, since the federal government has abolished slavery in the country. The conversation is cut short when Louise shows up and tells them she wants something to eat. This lifts Augusta and Mad's spirits, giving them hope that Louise will get well soon. They start to sing gleefully while preparing potato soup for her. That evening, the night rider arrives at Caleb's house only to find that everyone has been slaughtered, and he can't save the dying horse. Moments later, Augusta hears sheep wailing on the property and wakes up. Mad gets out of bed, grabs her rifle, and together they move outside to investigate, only to discover that a black dog has chowed down their sheep. Augusta immediately shoots and kills it with her shotgun. Suddenly, she hears someone in the woods calling the dog's name. This prompts Augusta and Mad to rush back to the house, lock the doors, and awaken Louise. Augusta opens their father's safe box and retrieves ammunition that might be of use to her, despite Mad's advice against moving outside alone. Augusta insists, reasoning that even if they remain inside, the drunken soldiers will break in anyway. Augusta uses the stairs to covertly locate a defense position. At that instant, the Union soldiers open gunfire from outside and almost get her, but she takes the plunge to survive. After firing several rounds at the house, the thugs resort to throwing cocktails inside in an attempt to burn it down. When Augusta realizes this, she undresses herself and uses her dress to put out the fire, but this isn't enough to stop the bandits from finding other ways to enter. Augusta grabs her rifle and follows the footsteps. She shoots one just before he leaps through the window, then quickly rushes back to the bedroom, where she illustrates some basic skills to Mad on how to powder and shoot the gun. Augusta hastily dons her father's boots and orders Mad to shoot anyone who comes within her line of sight to save her sister. Then she goes outside, intent on confronting the bandits. Since Augusta is accustomed to the farm, she runs down into the woods to create a diversion. Henry kicks and breaks the door down and enters the house. He comes across an isolated and locked bedroom. He immediately kicks and knocks the door to the ground, but Mad is too terrified to shoot the goon. Henry snatches the gun from her and hits Mad right across the face, knocking her out, leaving Louise terrified and defenseless. She tries to run away, but Henry grabs her and throws her on the bed, where he claps her violently. After finishing his lawless act, Henry points the gun at Louise's face to shoot. Out of the blue, Mad shoots him from behind and kills him for good. Moses starts a stupid talk about his admiration and has no intentions of hurting her. He promises to put down his weapon if she moves out of her cover. Augusta surprises him with bullets, but she gets wounded during the crossfire. Mad pushes the thug off of Louise and comforts her. Moments later, Moses helps himself to stand up and walks towards Augusta lying in the field. She uses the gun to hit him in the head before hastily going inside to meet her sister. Mad uses alcohol to treat Augusta's gunshot wound and bandages it to avoid loss of blood. Sadly, Augusta and Louise learn from Mad that a recent slave master sexually abused her multiple times, but no one tried to save her, even when she started to scream. The conversation is cut short after they hear footsteps outside the house. Augusta and Mad take their positions in order to combat any intruders. To Mad's surprise, she finds out that her longtime husband has come back to meet her, but her happiness doesn't last long because the man gets shot by Augusta. Mad tearfully runs and holds tight to her lover on the ground. Breathing deeply, he tells her how much he has missed her recently. Mad kisses him before he becomes motionless. Augusta holds herself responsible for causing a lot of pain because of the terrible mistake. She feels ashamed and can't stand to watch Mad crying, so she takes a walk around the farm. Augusta learns that the thug whom she shot in the field has disappeared, which means he is not dead. Then she runs back inside the house. First, she apologizes to Mad for the killing of her husband and informs them that one soldier is still alive and they must hunt him down before he comes back to hunt them. The three women pick up their guns and head into the woods. Thanks to the blood on the ground, they track him down in the stable, where he was waiting for them with a gun in his hand. Moses informs Augusta by stating that his killing will not have any value because the battalion of Union soldiers has already taken Georgia and is heading to South Carolina. Since he has feelings for her, he places the gun down on the table and asks her to marry him because he's tired of living an unhappy life. But Augusta is full of hatred for Union soldiers because they killed her father and her older brother. She shoots and kills him on the spot. Moments later, Augusta, Louise, and Mad dig and bury the deceased bodies in the field. Just then, Mad spots wildfire smoke all over the skies from the nearest villages, which means that the Union Army has already entered South Carolina and is burning every property they come across. Then, Louise comes out with a plan to exhume the buried bodies, disguise themselves as men, and relocate to another state to save their lives. They burn their father's properties and escape before being captured by the Union soldiers. This brings the movie to an end. But don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to watch more of my videos.